Good morning, I'm Darla, Sidles, Superintendent of Saguaro National Park.
Good, it's a special day for Saguaro National Park today. Can you tell us about it?
Yes, it is. We're very excited. After about a year and a half of planning, the Biodiversity Festival is here all around us right now. We've got over 600 volunteers that are helping with this event, and here at this location we've got presentations by scientists, we've got entertainment, we've got food, we've got 45 different vendors here, conservation booths where people can get stamps from each of the booths to get a bachelor's, a master's, or a PhD. And beyond this big event, we've got a huge event throughout both districts of the park where 2,000 students and about 1,500 of the general public are participating in inventories to count as many species in the park as possible within a 24-hour period. That will start at noon today and go until noon tomorrow. So we're hoping to find new species to the park and maybe even new species to science.
That's incredible. Now, you mentioned the two districts of the park, and that's what's so interesting about this park, is that there's a big city in the middle of the park which separates the park. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely, yes. Tucson is it's the Oreo cream of the cookie, and our West District is, it's about 78% wilderness, and the East District is also majority of wilderness. That's where we are right now. We've got a city of 1 million people in the middle. So the great thing about this Bioblitz is that Michael Fay, who's one of the National Geographic Explorers in residence, has actually walked from the far eastern part of the park across the Rincon Mountains all the way across Tucson, connecting into this West District here, counting species along the way and really connecting Tucson to its two districts.
Now, I believe the eastern side is called a Sky Island. What's that all about?
Yes, it is a Sky Island. That means that it stands alone in terms of the elevation and the diversity of the region there. It starts at about 2,500 feet and it goes up to about 8,600 feet. So in essence, it's the equivalent of walking from Mexico to Canada. And you'll see the huge diversity of species along the way, from desert scrub down at the very bottom to mixed conifer forest at the top with black bears and larger mammals like that there.
And here on the west side, I'm very struck by all the saguaro. It's quite magnificent.
Yes, it is a fabulous unit. This was added later to the, at the time, which was the National Monument. And it's actually got more saguaros here now than the east side did. Formerly, the east side had more saguaros due to a number of different environmental conditions. The saguaros over there are a little bit less now, but they are coming back. We've done a saguaro census every 10 years, and we just did one last year in 2010, and we've discovered that the saguaros are indeed increasing.
For people who don't really know about saguaros, can you talk about them a little bit? They really are very interesting looking plants. Absolutely.
They're the largest cactus in North America, so they can grow up to 200 years old, and they take an incredibly long time to grow. They're very, very important for us here. They're definitely an iconic feature of Saguaro National Park and the entire West in general. So the public really loves them. A lot of people think they look like people and attribute them to having spirits and souls. So they're very, very important to the citizens of this desert Southwest and to Tucson in particular.
I've noticed that there's quite a strong element of the arts, poetry, flag making. Is that a big element of the park here? Does it speak to the spiritual relationship that people have with this park?
Absolutely. I think this is the first Bioblitz that's actually had that art component, and we believe there's a very strong connection between science and art, and this community of Tucson, it very much exemplifies that, because there's a lot of people here who really care about the connection of those two. So here at the Biodiversity Festival today, we've got poets, we've got artists. In the background here you can see flags that students made. There's a poetry walk, a garden that people can go on, and there'll be a number of different presentations here, and poets will be reading some of their work. So this is a really unique aspect about the Biodiversity University and the Bioblitz, and we're very pleased to have that here today.
So the people of Tucson clearly love this park, and that's great news, but what are some of the challenges that Saguaro National Park faces?
Well, I think one of the big challenges we have is that we are in the middle of a very large metropolitan area, and so urban sprawl is an issue. The city is really bumped up right against the park boundaries, and so we're seeing the typical thing you would see associated with any kind of city sprawl, and that's having access issues to the park. There's private land issues. There's the things from light pollution, noise pollution, just all the things that go with being near a city of 1 million people. Wildlife corridors can be compromised sometimes. But one of the other things that we're facing right now more recently is the influx of an exotic grass called bufflegrass, and that's a real concern for us. I would say it is our #1 ecological challenge here in the park, and that is this grass has come in and it fills in the inner spaces between what used to be desert vegetation that grew pretty much with areas with no vegetation, and now this grass has kind of filled in those inner spaces, and it is very it brings in fire, and so fire comes in, and really saguaros are not tolerant of fire at all, and so it kills saguaros. And if we don't get a handle on the bufflegrass, it could eventually change the entire landscape of the Sonoran Desert as we know it now.
So are we losing the battle to eradicate bufflegrass?
Here in the park, we are staying right about even. I would say we are on the verge of losing the battle in the Sonoran Desert because we just don't have the resources to take care of it, and it is very much a concern. It is, as I said, our #1 priority here ecologically in the park, so we do put a lot of resources toward that, and we're staying just about even with it, which is actually a success in terms of the issues that it's causing elsewhere.
Good. Well, thank you very much for spending some time with us.
Absolutely. Thank you.